Spring break is revving up around the city, and if your family is planning a road trip, an automotive expert is sharing safety tips that will drive in all the fun. Paul is outside right now with Nannette Neugart. Paul, what are some tips for families who are getting ready to hit the road?
Yep, that's an important question. Yeah, I've got Nannette with me, and she's the owner of O'Brien Automotive. And spring break, so a lot of folks hitting the road.
Yes, they are getting ready.
Yeah, it's important. It's important that the car is in tip-top working order, right?
So I'm going to give you some tips for spring break travel.
Okay, well, let's start under the hood. Very important here. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Make sure that we do.
The thing is your electrical system, your battery. We want to make sure that it's free of any acid or buildup here on the terminals. We want to make sure there's no leakage or anything like that. You do need to get the battery checked to make sure it is, charging to where it's supposed to charge. Okay. Another thing is I want to talk about all the fluids. You want to make sure that we have all our fluids, up to where they're supposed to be. We want to make sure that they're nice and clean.
Now, Nannette, if you're not very familiar with your car, is it very easy to identify the most important fluids?
With newer vehicles,
Nannette,
it's
come
not
over here.
as easy as it used to be. But we've got your main things always. You can always check the oil. Here's your oil. You where you don't ever want to open up the radiator cap, but you do have an over reservoir flow that you can see where the level is.
That's this here,
That's that right there. One of the important things to me is really important is your washer fluid. Always make sure you have plenty of washer fluid. And your brake fluid, you want to make sure that that's not low.
Okay.
Okay.
So just a few things there, a few of the fluids and the battery, make sure those are in working order.
Absolutely. Now, one other thing I want to talk about are your wipers. You want to make sure your wipers are nice and clean. They're doing a nice, good, clean streak. So that's very important.
Because if they're not, then you're not going to see very well.
You're not going to see very well at all.
And that's bad. You got to see.
Exactly.
All right. What's another thing we need to make sure?
Tires. Now, those are the most important. Like you talk about the tennis shoes, these are most important. Yeah. Now, one of the important things is you want to make sure they're filled to the proper inflation. We want to make sure we don't see any wear and tear, any cracks, or any wires coming out of the tires. Now, a little old trick that you want to do for the, let's get that penny out of here.
All right, let's get the penny.
Trick is you're going to put it in the tread here, and if you can see the top of his head, Lincoln's head, then we know that we're going to need to replace these tires.
That's what we call bald.
That's what we call bald tires.
And what'll happen is you'll skid on wet or whatever.
You're exactly right. You'll be sliding around. It's very unsafe, especially in in San Antonio, where we don't get a lot of rain, and when we do, it slides around all over.
Slick, right. One other thing I'm going to add to this is if the tires are old, like 8 years or something, they may look good, but they're really...
It just depends. I think it's good to let an expert check that out for you because sometimes you can get away with some older tires. It just depends on how they're feeling of how they stick, and we can tell that.
Yeah. Notice that I am not the expert. Nannette is. Okay. So, but one thing I always wonder, all the vehicles is what do you air it up to?
Well, look, funny. I'm glad you asked that. We've got the tire pressure on the door here, and this will tell you exactly where your front tires need to be and the rear tires. I would personally go into a reputable shop and have them, or O'Brien's Automotive, have them check your tires, and we'll do that at no charge for you.
Okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
So you'll check that out? Because the last thing you want to do is run around with low tires. What happens if you get kind of, it's not that important and you run around with low tire pressure?
There's a lot of things that can happen. You're going to ruin the tire. You may not stop correctly because, again, you might slide and you're not going to get the good traction on the streets like you need to. Right. So, also, I want to talk about the exterior lights. We want to make sure all our exterior lights are in proper working condition.
Let's check that out.
Sure thing.
Yeah. Okay, so make sure that all the lights are in good work. Now, I noticed that you've got the shield missing over here. Is that okay?
I did that on purpose. Yeah, it's not okay. When you brake and they see any kind of light coming from here, like a white light, then they know that, it's against the law and it's not safe. Okay. Absolutely.
So watch that. Okay, so those are some great tips. And you have a special offer for us today.
Yeah, I have a special offer for the first 25 callers. They're going to get a free gift from O'Reilly's, as well as if you call us at O'Brien's, the number's on the screen, you're going to get a free 21-point inspection for your travel for spring breakers. You just need to call us, and we need to make an appointment, but we're offering that to all our customers.
Okay. Well, Nannette, thank you for keeping everybody safe.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me here.
All right. Yeah, so now you got all the tips on how to keep that car tip-top shape. All right, now...